Hey people, this is Thunder in the Spirit of Thunder, which encompasses all kinds of different spirits. Crazy Horse, Baba Chi, a whole wide array of people, Geronimo. I'm going to teach a new spiritual technique, or an old spiritual technique that's new to some people, called being in presence, and I might include splatter vision with that. Splatter vision comes from the Apache people. It's a and other people, ancient Hindu people too, tribal people. It's about seeing things that aren't there, feeling things. It's about going into a different state of consciousness, higher states of consciousness, and higher states of being, and higher states of maneuvering in this mortal shell from a spiritual third eye, crown chakra, aura type viewpoint. I would say reference my previous videos or video on cosmic breathing and spiritual and cosmic breathing. That'll put you in the proper frame of mind for this video. And it'll set you up for this video. So for being in presence, and I don't mean living in the moment, that's cool too, but being in presence means being in presence. See, most people walk around in their day-to-day lives as robots. They basically aren't feeling, aren't seeing. They shut down their senses for all kinds of various reasons, mostly because there's noise pollution and all kinds of shit going on. So they're not really being in presence. They're just walking around functioning, but in a society that is kind of on autopilot, or robots. Robotville, baby. This'll sock you right down into a groove that takes you into higher consciousness. Okay, and if you do this right, if you do it point by point, if you do it right, you can't just go out there and do things like you're going to the store, or a routine type thing. You know, you have to get into this 100%, 100% into it, totally into it, totally paying attention, totally trying to get or conceive what Thunder's talking about. So we'll start with you reviewing the cosmic breathing and spiritual breathing video about 2 videos ago. And then going with this. Now you sit comfortably, or you can go to a park or somewhere quiet. You don't want any noise around, or you don't want people talking, because those brings up thoughts. Those 2 things bring up thoughts. And also you don't want music like, you know, oldies but goodies, because that brings thoughts to your mind too. Oh, I remember my relationship when... You don't want music, and you don't want any sounds other than maybe an ocean, or traffic in the distance is okay if you can't get away from traffic, because we're going to talk about tuning into sound. That's a part of it. And it's okay if traffic is off in the distance, as long as it's not overwhelming and cars beeping their horns and that type shit. So you go to a park and you sit in a cross-legged position. Some people call that Indian style sitting, or a lotus position, or whatever. Or you can sit with your knees on the ground and your heels underneath your butt, back on, you know, like that. Or you can sit, or you can stand in the stance I talk about in the previous video. And you want your spine erect, and you want to be doing abdominal breathing, and you just want to be relaxed, okay? Totally relaxed, and kind of in a nature setting if you can be, and away from people. Now, once you get this down, you can do it anywhere. But okay, so you're out there, and you're relaxed, and you're either sitting or standing, and say, okay, so you close your eyes first of all and just watch your breathing, and just stand there and listen. Now, the first thing you want to do is tune into your sense of feeling, okay? Your sense of feeling. You relax, you breathe in, and then you just start noticing, you just kind of subtly kind of start noticing small things, like let's say the wind's blowing and you feel that it's coming from a certain direction, or you feel it on the side of your face. You really want to tune into that, because we're tuning into feeling here, people. And you might feel your hair blowing, and you might feel, sometimes when you can feel a little wisp of hair scratching across your face, or just tickling your face. This is what I'm talking about, getting into minute detail of the sense of feeling or touch. And I want you to just tune into this totally when you're out there relaxed and breathing with your eyes closed. Totally get into that feeling of the wind blowing on you, or little wisps of wind, or even how your clothes feel on your body, or if you're barefoot, you might be standing in the grass, how that feels. Get into it in intimate detail as if it was your best lover. Go through it and just feel it, and tune out all the other senses for the moment. Just tune into the sense of feeling. Now, it's going to automatically attune your other senses when you start doing this. So let's jump for a minute. Say you got that down, and this might take minutes before you finally realize, hey, I'm actually feeling stuff now. I'm not just walking around in a mesmerized zombie state of mind. Then go to your sense of hearing. Go to your sense of hearing and focus in on, you're still in your sense of feeling, but you're going to another sense now of hearing, and you focus in on some sound. And you know what? I've gotten to the point where I can hear the sound of the universe creating itself. I know that sounds far out, but it's like an om sound. It's a hissing sound. But if you can focus in on focus in totally, let's say there's traffic somewhere, and you can hear it going shh, 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 shh. Focus in on that sound. Or focus in on the sounds around you. Let's say there's a bird. Let's say there's an ocean. Or the wind blowing in the trees. Okay, the leaves. Focus in on that sound of the leaves blowing. That little rustling sound that you hear when the wind comes up. Or focus in to just the wind itself blowing through the branches, that or whatever. In intimate detail, as if it's your best lover that you're paying attention to. Focus in on that sound and don't let go of it, and focus in on it so much that your thoughts dissipate and you're not having thoughts arise, and you're just focusing into sound. So you're starting to feel, you're starting to come alive here. You're starting to get out of your programmed state of mind, your everyday walking around like a zombie state of mind. And you're starting to feel the wind blowing on your skin, and you're starting to hear minute things, almost like you can hear the blades of grass blowing. That's how much you're focusing in here. With your eyes closed, relax and breathing. So next you want to go to the feeling of smell. Now if you're out in a place where there's flowers and green grass and that type of stuff, tune into that smell, that beautiful perfumed fragrance. So that's all you smell. And then go to another smell and smell that smell. Got to realize, people, that we're surrounded by energy, okay? And energy comes in all kinds of shapes and forms and sizes and smells. And so what you're doing is you're melding your spirit into the universe around you. You're melding your soul and your spirit into the universe, the cosmic energy field, the ether that's around you. You're becoming one with nature. You're becoming one with all that is in the spirit that moves in all things. So we've got the sense of feeling, the wind blowing on you, and the little wisps of hair, and feeling of your clothes on your body, how they hang on your body or whatever. Is it too tight? Is it loose? The sense of hearing, you hear all kinds of things everywhere. You tune into everything. Even if there's a cricket or whatever, a bird singing, the wind going through the leaves in the tree. You smell things. You tune into your sense of smell. You smell flowers. You smell whatever odor's in the air. It might not be a good odor. It might be living in the city. At least you're tuning in your senses, though. See, that's why we shut down our senses, because of noise pollution and stuff. So open them up. Now the next thing is taste. You can just tune into that and see is your mouth dry? Does it have a bitter taste? Does it have a sweet taste? That type of thing. Is it salty? Tune into that for a bit. And then the last thing that we have on the I'm kind of moving right along here, but you get the drift. If you're hip and you're a meditator and you get the drift, then you tune into your sense of sight. Now this is where we're going to get into splatter vision, or wide angle vision, or Apache tracking vision, because it's not just a vision, it's a induction of senses or sensory awareness through vision. Just like you're inducing sensory awareness of your surroundings and proximity factor of things around you, you're becoming one with the spirit that moves in all things. So what happens when you become one with the spirit that moves in all things? Well, you become the spirit that moves in all things. So you know where everything is. You know where the cricket is. You know where the bird is. Because you are the bird and you are the cricket. This is the kind of state of mind I want you to get into. Now, splatter vision is taught by a lot of people in tracking schools and all kinds of things. And if you haven't come upon it by now, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. So you do the same thing. You're out there, when you're being in, let me go back just a minute to being in present. When you open your eyes and you attune to all these senses that I take you through, and we're going to go back to it. when I get done with splatter vision. But when you open your eyes, colors are vivid. You're in presence. Okay, you're not out of presence, you're in presence. You're in the immediate second, and you're feeling everything about it. It's called mindfulness. So here we are in splatter vision. What you want to do is you're in the same stance, or you're standing up actually. It would be better to be standing. And you hold your hands out to your sides, straight out to your sides, and you wiggle your fingers. This is how you start. You're relaxed, but they're straight out to your sides. In other words, you're going to be using your wide angle vision. Okay, here. And one eye goes to this finger, and one eye looks out to this finger, okay? It's a yoga technique too. It's a mudra. You're gazing straight ahead off into nothingness, okay? You're gazing off into nothingness. Your eyes are softened. They're not focused. They're more or less softened, and you're just kind of gazing out. In fact, there's a technique I'll tell you about real quick where you can hold your, put your thumb on the side of your nose and hold up your hand like this and stare at your little finger. Focus on your little finger and then take it away and pretend like your little finger is still there, and you're kind of like gazing off into nothingness. Gazing off into nothingness. That's what you want to be doing, is kind of like gazing off into nothingness. And you want to have your fingers, your hands like a cross, like you're a cross out to the side, and you can point your fingers towards the front a little bit and wiggle them. You can cheat a little and then bring them back more behind your back until you get this wide angle vision going where you can see both fingers moving at the same time while you're staring ahead in this like staring into nothingness, and you're twiddling your fingers out here, okay, and you're saying them. It's like wide angle vision, soft focused, staring out into infinity. So what this does is it increases it increases your awareness to a 360 degree, almost like the eyes in the back of your head. And Apache trackers use this technique because they wanted to know where everything was. And when you get this finally, you see things as patterns. You don't see a tree as a tree. You see more like the branches in the sky behind it. You might see the sky behind her. You might see that as a paisley pattern, or you might see it as a texture. You don't see it as a tree anymore. And this is part of the exercise, is disassociation with names of things. Okay? Disassociation with names of things, like that's not a tree. That's not bark on the tree. That's a pattern. That's a vibrational energy, okay, vibrating at a certain frequency. That's not green grass. That's not the color green. That's another vibration at a certain frequency. That's not, in other words, that's the state of mind you want to be in. No names, just looking at things as almost like pixelated patterns, like you see on a computer, only this is nature, and it's energy. And it's vibrating at certain levels, okay? And so when you go into this wide angle vision, this soft gaze, you want to go into this seeing things in that light, seeing things as not things, but energy. Because that's all it is. It's all about energy. It doesn't have anything to do other than with just freaking energy, people. Get that through your heads. I'm coming from a shamanistic point of view here. This is everyday business for Thunder. I mean, I experience this stuff every day. Once you get to this point, you cannot go back. You cannot go back because life would become too freaking boring. You would just be a robot. So as you're doing this wide angle vision, looking at your fingers out there and relaxing and go into the soft gaze or the infinite gaze, you start knowing where everything is. In other words, if you hear a cricket over here in the grass, you know right where it is. That cricket's 10 feet away to my right and it's in the grass. Or if you hear a snake slithering through the grass, you'd know where it was and it was coming after you. That's why trackers used it. If there's a bird flying up above, you can actually almost hear its wings. I hear the wings moving, and I feel the energy coming towards me. Then you can manifest things too. I won't get into that right now. That's another video. So that's what wide angle vision does, or splatter vision. Okay. And now let's get back to being in presence. Okay, so you've gone through these other senses, right? You've gone through these other senses, and you're coming to your visual sense. You're seeing, and your eyes are closed. So what you do is you learn splatter vision first before you do this. I know I put the cart before the horse, but that's okay. And as you're coming out of the feeling of presence, with all the tuning into all these feelings, you go into splatter vision when you come out, and boom, it hits you like a ton of bricks. It's amazing. Now, to facilitate, I know I'm getting complicated here, but bear with me, and you can review this video. You can write and ask me questions. You can do anything you want. To facilitate going into splatter vision, coming out of being in presence, you go into what I call the Taoist smiling down technique. The Taoist, Taoist, spelt with a T, Tao. Taoist smiling down technique, which is one of the heaviest techniques in the world. And if you get this, baby, you're going to be in good shape. So when you laugh, what happens when you laugh? You smile in your eyes. Your eyes take on a certain feeling, right? Like laughter, almost like a wrinkling up or crinkling, or the feeling you get when you laugh in your eyes, laughing eyes. It's a good feeling. You can smile, you can close your eyes and smile and feel that feeling in your eyes. Okay. Now that feeling can just be in your eyes. You don't have to be smiling. You can just get that feeling in your eyes, that kind of like smiling feeling. It's almost like you're activating a happiness or a joy component. And so as you're in this being in presence and tuning into all these different senses, and you're starting to move to your sense of seeing, or vision, think of those smiling eyes right before you come out, and smile down. In other words, use the smiling feeling in your eyes and smile down to your whole body, little by little, right down, your skeletal structure, your jaw, your throat, your lungs, all the way down your spine, down to your abdomen. Smile down and give yourself a joy bath from your eyes. Give yourself a happy bath. Give yourself a being in presence, I love myself bath. It feels real good, people. That actually is part of a technique called bone marrow cleansing, but I won't get into that either right now. I'm getting into stuff, excuse me, I'm getting into stuff that's going to help you. So as you're doing this smiling down, then you open your eyes and you come out into that soft gaze splatter vision thing that you practiced before. So when you do all three of these things, it's like a triple whammy, Cola. If you go out and do this and you start with being in presence and go through all the things, including my previous video, if you really tune into this and do it ritualistically and do it with reverence and do it with meaning in a relaxed frame of mind. Remember, you always do this in a relaxed frame of mind, not like I gotta do it. That's forcing the issue. You don't ever want to be that way. You never get anywhere by forcing an issue. Okay? Or by trying to make stuff happen. You just let it happen. Just like your body breathes you and the drum breathes you. You channel energy and you let it happen. You let spirit flow through you in an energetic fashion. You let the spirit that moves in all things, great spirit, come right down through your crown chakra and talk to you, like the Hopis say, in a spiritual fashion. That's why you don't need anybody else to mediate between you and the Creator. You can go direct, baby. So, let's do a little review here. So we went through being in presence, and we went through the previous video of like how to relax and how to abdominal breathe and how to do stances and how to get the energy flowing, which in itself should kick your ass. But now we're adding the components of being in presence and the Taoist smile down and the splatter vision. And if you do all this stuff correctly, you will never be the same again in your life. I guarantee it. That's a promise from Thunder. If you do this right and you keep doing it and keep practicing it and are diligent with it and disciplined with it, then you're never going to be the same ever again. Okay, you're not going to be the same person you were. You're not going to be a person in a physical sense. You're going to be more like tuning into your spiritual soul self. And you're going to become what you really are, which is pure essence and vibrational energy from the one ocean of the infinite. That's what's going to happen. So you go out and do your exercise. You're in presence first. You're in being in presence. Okay. And you go through all the techniques that I taught here about being in presence, tuning into all the senses. Review this video if you have to. Then you go into the smiling down technique and then combine it with splatter vision. Boom, all coming out of it. That's when you go into the final deal here. The coup de grace, baby. I hope I didn't leave anything out here. But I'm always doing videos. And I'm always adding to them because I've done things on splatter vision before, and it might be in a different way. And I do it different ways for a reason, because some people get it one way and they don't get it the other, you know. So you want to do this, people, and you want to put these three together, and you want to breathe. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this. See, things come to my mind all the time, but when you're going into this, you definitely want to be like, I guess I mentioned it, the last video on spiritual and cosmic breathing, where you're watching your breath, which really puts you in a relaxed state. So this is like a private lesson. This is something that I've been doing for years. And then, when you get things like this down, when you get into like different kinds of yoga, like Tantra yoga or uh, any kind of yoga, Kundalini yoga, uh, Tantra, sexual yoga with a partner, it all facilitates that. It all comes together. No pun intended. But Thunder likes to turn people on to this stuff because we need more conscious people, not brainwashed zombies walking the face of the earth, so that we can facilitate a healing for the planet. And you'd be surprised what a few people with a higher state of consciousness, or what I call a shamanistic state, or a yogi state. I could say I'm a practicing yogi and be truthful because I've been doing Kriya for since '86. And I've been doing Taoist and alchemical yoga and breathing and all of this stuff. Chinese stuff, a lot of it I learned through doing the martial arts, which I've been in for years and years and years, all kinds of martial arts. And yoga, physical yoga like Hatha yoga, done it all, Tai Chi. So all this stuff is about energy movement, moving the energy around. And I teach this stuff, by the way. Kind of out in the middle of nowhere in the desert right now, so have a nice journey if you want to get here. It's worth it though, if I do say so myself. And I'm open to that kind of thing if you want to contact me. If you think this is worth anything as far as monetary, this would cost you hundreds of dollars, hundreds and hundreds of dollars. You'd have to go to special seminars and all kinds of stuff. spiritofcrazyhorse.com below, link below. You can donate there. Go ahead. I don't care. I can use it, but I'm not pushing it, okay? I give this stuff for free. You can also contact me. There's also contact email below at nativeamericantaoist@gmail.com. I combine everything, baby. I combine everything that's available to me. I combine my spiritual traditions. Just like a drummer listens to a bunch of drummers and then forms his own style, you have to do that in life. You have to listen to all kinds of sources. I know I'm kind of an enigma in a way because I sit here and spout off 4-letter words sometimes. That's a whole nother video too that I can get into about the sacred and the profane being two sides of the same coin. I think I've talked about that before too. Or having to be a sinner before you can be a saint. Anyway, get out there and do this shit, people. Get out there and practice and practice and practice. And pretty soon this is going to become like second nature. And you're never going to be the same person again. Because you'll find yourself doing this as you walk from the car to the bank or to the fast food joint or wherever you're good, the drugstore, your yoga class. These people in yoga classes don't have a clue as about what they're doing. I mean, if they really actually knew what they were doing, how the energy's moving around them, it would scare them, I think. It's all about energy. It's all about Kundalini energy, moving the serpent energy up the spine and around into the microcosmic orbit. It's all about hooking up with other people on an energetic level and not necessarily on a mundane level. I hook up with people all the time, long distances, through videos, through pictures, because we're all one and there is no distance and there is no time. Once you realize that, you can do just about anything. Ask Einstein, he knew. All right, I'm going to leave it there today. This is Thunder in the Spirit of Crazy Horse, Spirit of Thunder, Spirit of Geronimo, Spirit of Babaji, Spirit of all great masters. I'm out of here. Adios.